Mediaite has this really, it's a really depressing article. It's a really sad article. It's about how the Democrats ran in Georgia. Their main argument was, we're going to get you the $2,000 checks. If you vote for us, you get the $2,000 checks. And there's now been, a move away from that. They're distancing themselves from that. They won on that, and now they're like, who, me, bro? See, what happened was the sun was in my eyes. I didn't say $2,000. What I said was, me and Craig and them was down by the Safeway, and it's the $1,400 on top of the $6,000 you already got to get to a total of $2,000, not a separate $2,000 check to get to $2,600. Don't be ridiculous. Well, they ran into a little problem here because it appears like there are some people who are buying that line, that little sleight of hand of like, oh, I guess 2,000 total is what they meant. But no, I think the majority of people are like, no, I'm not buying it. You said $2,000 checks, and you even argued that after the $600 already passed. So we want $2,000 checks. So a lot of people are just totally shattered over this because people need that fucking money. I don't know if you noticed, there's a pandemic and effectively a depression happening right now. People went out to vote for them because people need that money. Okay, so here's what it says. A betrayal. Georgia voters enraged after Democrats' promise of $2,000 checks becomes $1,400 under Biden's stimulus plan. So let me give you, I actually have some of these quotes jotted down here. These really are like heartbreaking. One person said, quote, the last few weeks heading towards the runoff election, especially after Trump endorsed the $2,000 payments, Warnock and Ossoff made it a point to endorse and exclusively say $2,000 checks. Here's what one voter said, quote, a lot of people in my district voted blue in the runoff for two main reasons. Number one, Loeffler and Perdue denying us relief during COVID while profiting millions themselves. So people were paying attention to that story about how corrupt they are, and they sold the stocks when they had the meeting, like, COVID's going to be bad, sell, and then they did. And the second reason, $2,000 checks. Somebody who knocked on doors for the Democrats said, quote, I was on the ground and I knocked on over 1,000 doors. He told Mediaite in an interview, quote, at the doors, I was literally telling people $2,000 checks. You can rely on this. I'm a man of principle and morals, and I feel like shit. I lied to them. I was lying to them the whole time. I was lying to people that were relying on this. At the time, I didn't know it was a lie, but it was not the reality. This is pretty much a betrayal of the working class. You can't do this to people. And then if you do this to people, you for shit sure better calm the fuck down with your finger wagging and telling them to fall in line and vote Democratic because the Republicans are more evil. Yes, the Republicans are more evil. Yes, there's a difference between the two parties, but they're too similar. And when you do shit like this and you stab somebody in the back, human nature kicks in. And people don't give a fuck about your disconnected academic theorizing of like, well, they might suck 100% of the time, but we only suck 87% of the time, so maybe you should vote for us. Shut the fuck up and stick by your word. You said $2,000 checks. Cut the $2,000 checks and shut the fuck up. By the way, you want to know the backstory? Because I could tell you exactly what went on behind the scenes and what they decided to do. So originally the idea was, we're going to do the $2,000 checks. That was the original idea. We're going to do the $2,000 checks. We're going to do it through budget reconciliation. Then it became, oh, did we say 2,000? We meant 1,400 more to make a total of 2,000 because you already got 600. And we're not going to do that in a standalone bill. What we're going to do is put that in a broader $1.9 trillion COVID relief package and try to get that through the Senate, not through budget reconciliation, which means you only need 51 votes, but we're going to try to do it in a bipartisan way, which means you get 60 votes, which they're not going to fucking get. I don't even think they're going to get close. I think they're going to get like 53 or 4. That's it. Maybe even less than that. So then what are they going to do? Well, then they're at a crossroads. Okay, do we throw our hands up and say, gosh golly, we tried and we couldn't do anything? Which is a lie if they say that. It's a lie. Or do they say, okay, you don't want to pass this in a bipartisan way? Now we're going to go through budget reconciliation and get the 51 votes in order to pass this piece of legislation. see, guys, what I want to make crystal clear, I'm saying this beforehand. If the Democrats don't get something, they never wanted anything. Because they have the ability to get something. And if they don't get something, don't buy their bullshit of, oh, it was the big bad Republicans who handcuffed me and I couldn't get anything done. Gosh, golly gee, fiddlesticks, mama. That's bullshit. If they say that shit, it's fucking bullshit. Because they can do this through budget reconciliation. By the way, they didn't need to muddle the package and put a zillion things in there and make it less likely to pass. They didn't need to say, we're going to try to override the filibuster and have a bipartisan bill. They didn't need to do any of that, but they did all of that. If they don't retreat to, we're going to do budget reconciliation, either for the $1.9 trillion package or the $2,000, then they never wanted it, and they played you for a fool all along. Now, do I know what's going to happen? No, I have no idea what's going to happen. I fucking hope they get something through. Because if they don't, they're liars and they're full of shit. And their plan is going to be what their plan has always been for decades, which is when they have the ability to do some shit, they're going to say, oh, we can't do some shit because the Republicans are big bad meanies. Again, even though I'm telling you beforehand, as a matter of fact, that's not true. If you're president, you could say, we're going to do the $2,000 checks, we're going to do it through budget reconciliation, and we're going to pass it. You're going to pass it in the House because it's overwhelmingly Democratic. You're going to pass it in the Senate because it's 51 votes if Kamala, breaks the tie. You just got to hold Manchin or get Hawley, which you can do to get to 51, and then you sign the bill. So again, I'm letting you know beforehand. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking. Is that the way the saying goes? I don't know the way the saying goes. I don't watch football, so I probably shouldn't use that saying. But anyway, I'm telling you in advance that if they get nothing, they're full of shit and they don't want anything. Okay, so I hope they get something. Because this alone, by the way, guys, yes, you're crazy if you think that, if you had the election now, after the Democrats did this, the result might be different. It might be Loeffler and Perdue winning. Because if this was their main closing argument, literally they ran ads that just said, vote for me for a $2,000 check. Biden went and rallied there and said, if you elect these Democrats, that stops the blocking of the $2,000 checks. We're going to get you the $2,000 checks. So you can't do this and then be surprised if you lose. And the most amazing thing is, guys, this Republican Party is beyond a joke. The Republican Party, they're in shambles. There's going to be a Republican Civil War. It's going to be the Trumpists versus the more establishment types. I mean, they're really going to be at each other's throats. It's going to be ugly as fuck. With the state of the Republican Party, you should be able to get gigantic supermajorities everywhere if you're a Democrat. But that would also require the Democrats not totally sucking as well in a different way. And what they're showing here is they're not going to take advantage of the Republican Party being fractured and destroyed and factionalized. They're going to do shit like this and still somehow make the races close from here on out. Like the election, I don't know, do I know what's going to happen in 2022 or 2024? No. Anybody who says they do is lying to you. Because it's like there's a race to see who can suck more. The Republicans are a total mess. Trump left that party in shambles. But the Democrats, the more they do shit like this, the less appealing they are. And what I fear is what everybody should fear, which is people checking out of the system completely. People who are just like, none of them are fighting for me. Okay, there's some differences, but is it enough to get me my ass to go to the polls and spend an hour of my life? No. So that's what you need to fear. You need to fear people checking out of the system, because when you do shit like this, all of your academic theorizing means Dickie McGee's acts. Yeah, go tell people they suck 100% of the time, but we suck 87% of the time, and 87% is lower than 100%, so come vote for me. Shut the fuck up and do what you said you were going to do, bitch. Shut the fuck up. All this browbeating and shaming. Do the shit you said you were going to do. And I'm even more laid back than most other people, where most people would say, hey, $2,000 checks or go fuck yourself. I'll be kind and say, it was somewhat ambiguous as to whether or not you wanted the $2,000 checks, or you said you meant $1,400 plus $600 to a total of $2,000. You know what? I'll give you your little sleight of hand bullshit, because at least you're giving people some help, but you better get them the help. If you don't get them the help, I don't know what to tell you. You can't expect people to be excited or happy or interested or look forward to voting for you. Nobody wants to vote for you. Fucking selfish punk bitch corporatists. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. You know how many people need this fucking money? I mean, we really are in a pandemic and also effectively a depression. I mean, before the depression, 80% of the American people were living paycheck to paycheck. People got bills Are you kidding me? It's going to be like 30 or 40% of the country can't pay their fucking housing bill. So we have some temporary protections now because of COVID. What happens when those protections go away and people got to pay all these bills? They don't have the fucking money for it. And you can't even cut another $2,000 check? Guys, it should be $2,000 per month. And now they're arguing over the check that we had before this one was what, 9 months ago? You got a $1,200 check 9 months ago? And now we're talking about they're arguing over $2,000 or $1,400 or $2,600 now? Another one-time payment? It just shows you how they don't represent you. Because we've covered the numbers. A one-time $2,000 check, you know what that polls at? 78%. You know what $2,000 a month polls at? 60%. Because people need that fucking money. And they also look at it like, you know what? That's actually my money. Because I pay taxes. That's my money. I want my money back because I'm falling on hard times over here. And what do? One political party gives you the finger, except for the weak cuck at the top. I had maybe 2,000. Okay, maybe not. And then the Democrats say, yeah, 2,000. Oh, did we say that? What we meant was 1,400 and go fuck your mother. God damn it, man. It's just disgusting. People are abandoned. And you wonder why they hate politics. This is why they hate politics.